because I'm a little bit busy. But I think it's very important that we support women in business and women in general. I mean, we're talking about 50% of the workforce here. It's harder for women to get loans. I was talking to someone earlier. It's not that long ago that women had to get written permission from their husbands to start a business. It's really historically.
When was that? What year was that?
50s, 60s, 70s.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it is not that long ago. So we've come a long ways, but we have so much further to go. In Michigan alone, women are making 77 cents for every dollar men are making. And it's not a rights issue. It's an economy issue. It's an economic issue. Now it just makes sense. If 50% of the workforce is able to earn the same amount of money, they'll be able to pump that money back into the economy and grow the economy. And we know in a lot of instances, 40% of households, women are either the sole or primary breadwinner. And in many of those households, women hold the purse strings. And we know that women are responsible for budgets, and women are responsible for spending beyond their budgets, and supporting local businesses and supporting each other's businesses. So if they're earning, they're going to be able to spend. The other thing I think we need to have a conversation about too is paid family leave. The time has come now, especially when you have the majority of families across the country can't exist with just one income, and they need support. So when one parent needs to be home if a child is sick, and this is for men and women, we need to support the family that way. Paid child care, we need to help support child care, because now we've got so many people in the workforce, we need to help with child care. And then the other thing we need to look at is making it easier for young women to start businesses by allowing them to graduate from college without crushing debt. The cost of going to college and the burden of student loans it's put such undue pressure on young women, and they're unable to start businesses now and then pump money back into the local economies. So it goes beyond an issue of rights now. It's sensible, it's time, and it's about the economy.
So you pretty much have done it all, right? You've and you've lived everywhere, right, in the United States. What would you say is the best advice you've ever been given, and who gave it to you?
Oh my goodness. I would say at this point, I have to go back to my dad.
It's okay, you can go there.
Who basically said to me growing up for the 11 years that I had him, for him it was all about being true to myself and being of service to others. He was the one in the family who stressed getting involved and always making sure everyone else was taken care of. And I think that's where this sense of wanting to be of service comes from. And there have been so many people who've touched my lives in so many ways, like Michael Landon, who taught me my work ethic, and Debbie Stabenow, who is leading by example and whose shoes I would love to follow in, and the two women presidents of Screen Actors Guild who came before me, and all of these women actually now that I'm thinking about it, who have broken through barriers and paved the way to allow me to do what I'm doing today and to allow all of us to follow. It takes a tremendous amount of courage to be a trailblazer, I think, and I don't think that I am. I'm just following in the contrails of the trailblazers, really, and I hope to be able to step into those shoes and continue to make all of those people who have inspired me proud, and to work really, really hard. You know, this is a long journey at 52 to switch over completely my life into something completely new and different. Life is about reinvention too, to a certain extent.
It's never too late.
No, never ever.
Never ever.
Nope. I absolutely agree with that. Absolutely agree.
On that note, we're going to open it up for questions. Woohoo! Who's first? Anyone have any questions?
Somebody has to have something.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, great. Oh, good.
What
Yes.
components of being with SAG and being on the board with AVTRA do you feel will play into becoming a congressperson?
I think that the primary experience that I had at Screen Actors Guild was the bringing together of voices. And even though there still remained acrimony and debate, I toned it down. I was able to get the business done. We had 12-hour board meetings when I came in, and by the time I left, they were, 3. It's about efficiency, not wasting people's time, not wasting taxpayers' money now, where it used to be members' money. It's just applying what I learned on a much larger scale. And I think my ability to reach across the aisle, my ability to talk to people with different perspectives than mine and different points of view without getting into a petty debate, will serve me very, very well.
Sue?
Thank you. Very, very interesting and beautifully presented. My question is, having been an actress or an actor, and I didn't grow up here, so I really didn't see the House on the Prairie, but I know your name. The fact that you have this bandwidth, if you will, you have celebrity, you're well known, you've been in the public eye, and now you're transitioning to political situation, I think is wonderful. Do you think that as you move forward, you'll be able to convince people that your mission basically is that you'll be recognized and be recognized as an important person with your mission rather than as the fluffy actress? That's what I'm trying to say. So as a woman, having been an actress, now transitioning to something very wonderful and very important, you've got my vote for sure. Do you think men in politics will take you seriously?
You have a
Thank you
woman
for
running
that.
for president.
We do have a woman running for president now. When we had 2, we had someone else on the other side of the aisle too. I think that it's a collective thing, and I think that the more that we continue to prove ourselves as equals, the more we will be seen as equals. I also feel that we have to support one another in any way we can. And women can be very tough on each other too. I've gotten some very interesting advice, mostly from women, during this process. One woman told me to wear my glasses more because it made me look smarter, which I thought was interesting, aside from being able to see, which is a good thing.
Or not.
I think we do need to support one another more. And I think as far as, I don't know that I'm going to completely change people's minds about the minute people hear the word actor, they don't think of an everyday working individual who works really hard and long hours. They see a red carpet, they see a limousine, they see stylists, they see that whole other side of it. So I don't know that I'm going to be able to change people's minds, and I don't know that I'm going to be able to convey that I was a leader in an industry, one of the largest export companies and one of the biggest industries in America. I don't know that argument will fly. I think people are just going to have to hear what I have to say and see what I'm all about and have faith that my word is my bond and that I will do what I'm setting out to do.
Do you have ambitions for taking it further, maybe being a presidential candidate at some point?
I never imagined I'd be here, so I would not rule anything out because I constantly surprise myself by doing things that terrify me. Who knows? Who knows? It could lead to so many different places, but for now, this is what I'm doing, and I will stick for as long as I can. It's not easy because we have to get reelected every 2 years. And have to run a campaign every 2 years. But as time goes on, it gets easier and easier, so we'll see how that pans out. My mother did tell me when I was little that I would be president of the United States.
Good luck.
Yeah. I don't know.
Next.
Hi, Melissa. I wanted to talk to you about women in leadership.
And I know why I think the world will be a better place when we have more women leading across all industries. And I wanted to know what you feel in your heart will be, what will you see the world, or how will you see the world be different, I should say, when we have more women in leadership roles? What do you think that change will be?
Well, I think we'll see the issues that are affecting women on a larger scale, and we'll have many more advocates speaking out for us. But really, it all begins and ends with us starting and really pushing for paycheck fairness and pay equality. We have to join together to do that, and we need to force the economic shift so that people see that we are equal to men and we are literally 50% of this country. And I think that will lift up a lot of women, not just women in leadership, but it gives me a mission. And I think a lot of women in leadership positions have the same mission. If we're able to achieve that, it will lift other women up and inspire the next generation to follow in our footsteps. So I think that's how we do it. We lead by example. And, again, for me, it's not even the rights issue. It's just a common sense economic issue too. So, and the other thing we need to have a conversation about that we really should, I can't believe we're still talking about, but access to affordable health care is a big deal, and a woman's right to decide what she's going to do with her own body, to make her own medical decisions. The fact that this is coming up again and again in the conversation, and it's men primarily who are driving this conversation, and I don't, it makes me very frustrated, and I would like, now we see states doing end runs around federal law, and it is just, it's a control issue, I think, and it's a real problem, and we need to stop that, and we need to, support organizations like Planned Parenthood. We need to support one another. She said, rambling.
Patty.
Thank you, Melissa, for sharing your thoughts. Following Sue's question, should you decide to go further in your political career, you know you will get challenged on the choices you've made being an actor and also being taken seriously as a woman in your profession and now switching. How are you prepared, because you see what's going on in the political race right now, how are you prepared to address those issues? To your point, to say, I have been in leadership positions in the industry, be it as entertainment, is not a fluff industry, it's not just makeup, hair, and the red carpet, because that's far from it, that's just the tip of the iceberg. So my question to you is, how are you prepared to take on your challengers when they do say that, because there is a huge misconception about entertainers and actors and the struggles that you go through, which I know personally, because I have relatives in the industry, that it's on a daily basis, the inconsistencies of roles that come your way.
I think I think it's going to the perception of me as a candidate will change as time goes on, and I have debates and discussion with my opponent, and prove that I know what I'm talking about. And that's going to come with time. I'm going to have to stand up in forums like this and larger forums and all across my state, certainly and across my district, and have conversations with people from all different walks of life and help them to understand that I know what I'm talking about. And I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty, nitpicky, petty, backbiting, arguing. That's just not something I'm going to be doing. It's, people's perception will be their perception. The other thing I am not doing is I'm not reading anything on the internet. I'm just not. I'm not following comments down below any articles or looking at the Facebook page or any of that. It's too brutal, and it just is not constructive.
John?
Thanks for your inspiring messages today. I'm curious, following your comment on the campaign trail, the acrimony we see in politics today, you're a Democrat in the Republican area, are you finding that that campaign message is getting through, or that some of the, the rhetoric that we hear so much is a challenge for you to break through with, to me, what are sensible issues, but not necessarily being heard as we see in the politics today?
Well, I can tell you that I know it's making a difference because I can see the numbers of people who are contributing, who are getting involved, growing on a grassroots level. But I also know it's making a difference because I've now been targeted by one of the largest Republican super PACs in the country, and they've sent operatives into my district to follow me around to try and get me saying something untoward on camera. And I find that incredibly flattering. I think that's great. If I'm a threat, that's fantastic. Good. I should be. But it's also unnerving because, with those super PACs comes a lot of money into my opponent's campaign. And unfortunately, that is the environment we are existing in now, where money is the great driver of campaigns in this country, and it's going to